Sadly, I've been exposed. And worst of all, on Father's Day by the YouTube sheriffs. Hello, Tom Levecchia here with the latest edition of the New Theory podcast. Oh, not New Theory, sorry. Armchair MBA. I was coming for Jason. He's lazy with his podcast. So I've been doing some New Theory interviews. But today is the Armchair MBA. And we do our little snack interviews. Today is going to be a little bit of an educational snack. So I've been accused of fraud. I've been accused of malfeasance. I've been accused of all this great stuff, right? But the one thing I've been exposed on, which is true, my strategy has been exposed. Let me begin. Before I start, there are three types of media. You want to get views for your channel, you want to get views for your website. There are three types of media: owned, earned, and paid. Owned media is you create some content, you get it out there, people find you organically, maybe find you on social media, maybe people have an interest in what you like, maybe they sub, whatever that is. Owned media is stuff that you create, okay? So how do you get views, or how did I get views on my Gravano interview, which I was accused of impropriety, as well as Borrello, okay? So I'm going to point you to a show that, a channel rather, sorry, let me find it, that made a great comment. So basically another content provider, respectfully did either a whole show with me or a partial show with me. My name was in the title, and I checked it out. I didn't watch a video, but I saw the comments. This comment is exactly what I did on the owned media side. Tom is using SEO techniques and keywords. That is why he's getting high views. Keywords are vital if you want traffic to your website or videos. He's using keywords in his title and descriptions. He uses keywords like Gravano. He also hashtag the word description as well. Sam Gravano is a keyword. I have an app I use called Keywords Everywhere. And Sammy the Bull is searched on Google 40,000 times, over 40,000 times in the US, and Cara Gravano 27,000 times. He also uses keywords like Mafia, A Cosa Nostra. So there's a high chance that people typing Gravano into Google search may come across Tom's video. I notice he also uses links in his website showing his name, Armchair MBA. Type in YouTube SEO 2021, keyword research tutorial for YouTube. In digital marketing, and I could actually tell that he's a digital marketer by his vernacular. We use SEO, which is search engine optimization, also produces for our own media to drive traffic, websites or videos. To have a really successful YouTube channel, you need to be ranked in search, okay? So what I did was I typed in Karen Gravano, and 3 videos pop up. People want to see a video about her. Now it's typed in around roughly 1,000 times a day. For those that watch on video, will click this. Why? Because it's only 2 days old versus those that are much older, right? So that is part 1, okay? Part 2 is there's a thing called earned media, okay? So this is a site that has the video embedded, okay? Earned media is I'll pitch it to publicists or pitch it to journalists. I'll pitch it to owners of websites. I either own a website, have a relationship with a website. I may barter with a website. They may be interested in the mob. They may be interested in covering the mob wives, whatever that is. They call that earned media. There's no money taking place. 71% of media in this country, or earned media, is called placed media. That's why there's publicists. That's why Donald Trump says fake news, because 71 or 7 out of 10 is what is called earned media, and it's typically placed. So what I do with this article is I strategically placed it in a whole bunch of websites, right? So what you do is it embeds, you play it. Her story, some updates as to what's going on. Now, if this plays for more than 30 seconds, I get a view. That's one of the positive things. You can share it, which is great. One of the downsides, though, is typically if it's embedded and you watch it on the embed, it's great for the local site because it counts as time on the site for SEO, but they tend to comment less and they tend to like less because they watch it actually where the embed is or where it's embedded. So that would explain less engagement for that particular video. So you may be like, well, why don't you just do it on YouTube? That's the whole point of the strategy and why I've been exposed. I'm now using Google, which I showed you as part of owned media. I now show you how I used earned media. And let's do the third for where I think the biggest indictment on me was. So when you have a YouTube channel like this, I'm showing the back end. If you want to get paid media, which is part of the mix, and here's the exposure part, I actually advertised this particular show. I advertised it. Advertising is normal. It's part of the media mix. Again, owned, earned, and now, drum roll please, paid. In Google, in YouTube, you hit, because Google owns YouTube, you hit the promote button. It brings you to Google Ads. You click here to get started, and then you go. And you can decide a whole bunch of stuff as to where you want it, when you want it, mafia aficionados, people that know the Gravano family, people that type of the name Gotti, etc., etc., etc. And you target to those people, and you get views for, I don't know, 2 cents a click, and it's got to be 30 seconds to about 5 cents. Now, paid traffic also notoriously has a little lesser engagement, okay? Now, let's talk about engagement for a second, because it's like, Tom, it's all fake and it's bought. It's as simple as that. Here's where you're paid. The reason why you don't buy fake paid views, it crashes your average time, and it also hurts your SEO for that YouTube video, okay? So you might get a big bump and you might get a nice bolus, but then it will not live over time. My content is evergreen. I only get 2 to 3 to 4 or 5, even 5,000 at most views within 24 hours. Most of my views chug along because it's what is called evergreen content. It's always there. I got 200 views on Sammy video prior to Karen's being released per week. My even my Francis video to this day gets 50 views a week from 2017. My Johnny A. Light videos get about 100 views a week. All these come along on an evergreen basis and start to accumulate and increase the growth of your channel. So this is kind of like one of those things where it's like the magician reveals the tricks, and it's like, well, this guy a dirtbag, is he kind of revealing tricks and doing that kind of stuff? It's kind of like this here. I'm doing this not because I'm revealing tricks of what people are doing. I'm doing so we could all be better as a community. People may employ these techniques. They're all white hat techniques, and it's what's done. Okay. A little while ago, I made it very clear that I'm going to step up the Armchair MBA. I'm looking for a studio, right? I'm going to do in-studio interviews. Got to help back a little bit with the birth of my son. Getting bigger guests, and you're going to get bigger views. Because for the first time ever, I decided to invest some paid traffic into my latest video. And instead of people saying, well, how did you do it? Let's work together. Let's partner up. Let's see what's going on. It was dealt with small-mindedness and lack of understanding. So what happens when people don't understand something? They just tend to instinctively attack, right? So I'm going to go through the engagement for both pieces. And before I do, Cole Square, which is a resource that does helps you with what are called KPIs, key performance indicators, and helps you become a thought leader. Again, maybe for me, I might want to be a thought leader for YouTube. I might want to be a thought leader in digital marketing, maybe for sales and marketing. You need to build up your influence in order to do that. So the engagement rate on YouTube, okay, it's very simple. It's math. It's math, people. You have an engagement rate, which is the number of likes, the number of comments divided by the number of views. Historically, in the past, 0.75 was kind of the average that they liked, that said, hey, this is kind of benchmarking. And in 2021, it was 1.7. So you take the total amount of views, right? You say, hey, how many likes did I have? How many comments did I have? Divide that up, and you get a percentage. You get a ratio, right? So you put that together, and I want to go through each of the videos as of now as I write this, okay? So number one, the Gene video has reached 19,400 videos, okay? It received 227 comments, 50 hidden. People are brutal. It's not even funny either. I don't tend to hide comments. I very rarely do. You'd be surprised of stuff that I let through. But if you go in the back end, it says show hidden comments. and there was 50 there. And to be honest, I was uncomfortable approving any of the 50. So total comments for the Gene video at this point was 277. Now, Gene, I did not employ the same tactics I used as Karen. I just focused on owned media. I did some pitches, but they didn't get picked up yet. But for Gene, it was more of an SEO strategy. Okay. Then from there, it received 182 up likes. And what's not visible, it reached 70 down likes. So you simply add the comments to the likes. Total engagement is 529, or an engagement rate of 2.73, which is way above what you could expect, and literally about 4x of what the benchmark is in 2020. Now, Karen, as I explained, I employed, the difference between the two was the paid strategy, right? Buying some views, not illegally, advertising through Google AdSense. So this garnered 52,400 views. This was also shared by Ramona Rizzo, who has 200,000 followers, as well as Karen herself, which has over 200,000 followers. So roughly not about 400,000 see it, probably 20% see it. So probably reached about 80,000 people, about a 5% what is called CTR click-through rate. So probably got 4,000 or so from social. Nevertheless, 100 comments. Now, if you think they were brutal with Gene, they were frankly more brutal with Karen. What I did was I actually had to hide some of those, the RIPs and that kind of stuff. I can't keep that in there. It's not congruent to what the article had. Respectfully, I'm open to free speech and free forum, but it has a certain limit, making fun of who she dated, making fun of all that kind of stuff. So I did have to delete 70 comments. So at this time, roughly 171 comments there, 179 up likes. And listen, it is what it is. The Gravano name is very polarizing. There's about 100 or 100 down likes. Total likes, I spelled that wrong. Total likes, 279, for a total engagement of 450. Now, as I explained earlier, for the people in the back, well, Tom, why are your comments lower? Why are your likes lower? Because I got it picked up by various media sources, right? They weren't able to like or comment because it was embedded. So I got the view, but I didn't get the like and share, so my engagement would be a little lower. Number two, paid, and Don Vito Castrofetto, hopefully you're watching this, and he can back me up. Whenever you do paid media, it tends to be less in terms of engagement. People watch it kind of in and out, versus organically searching for something, it's a bit meaningful. And the engagement rate, despite not being able to like and share, with the embed, even though I use a lot of paid media, was still 0.86, which is still within the spectrum of the 0.75 and the 1.7. So, in short, there you have it. I've been exposed. You got my strategy. I am using it a catchy title that I hijacked the name Gravano. So I got a lot of people that type in Sammy the Bull. I use pipes. You can see the pipes that segments and gives signals. I do a description. I outbound link to the store, which helps with SEO. And I use hashtags. So that symmetry there on the front end of what you see is what gets you those earned views. While I'm at it, I might as well let more of my fraudulent behavior out of the bag. Part of the reason why the Sammy video has done so well is I have been using shorts. I told one creator who's finally using it months ago to use shorts. So here's all my recent videos. I am going to go to my most popular videos. Okay. So I do a short here of Sammy the Bull that received 83,000 views. It's just a short video that I took from TikTok, and I did that just after I interviewed him. I did this as a lead-in and as a feed to get subscriptions. This video alone has got me over 1,000 subs. It got me 83,000 views, and it fed in a lot of the views from Sammy's main video. When did it have another spike? 50,000 of these views were the last month, and 40 of those 50,000 were increased when he announced his show, the Salvatores. So I hit it right. A little bit of accident, a little bit of strategy. I knew Sammy was working on some big stuff. I didn't know when it was going to be released. As per Karen, that's why she couldn't. She was filming, but I wanted my best to try to time the release of the Salvatores to Karen's article. So there you have it. You have Sammy's short feeding in to people with Sammy the Bull. You have people seeing the short when the Salvatores come out. They subscribe to the channel, and then boom, Karen comes up. People want to hear about it. A good portion of the views also came from the shorts, and again, part of the strategy. That would be kind of part of the SEO earned media strategy. Nevertheless, it worked. So it paid off. Again, these are facts, pretty objective, and it is what it is. Now, I have an announcement to make. Today's Father's Day. I grew up with a single mother. So she was like my father, and I would always say Happy Father's Day to her. In lieu of that, I'm announcing a new program that I'm launching. So if you know a single mother, now very clear rules, you know a single mother that could benefit with all this craziness going on in the economy, $500 gift card towards Amazon or a $500 gas card. You simply approach them appropriately. Don't insult them. Appropriately see if they need some help. If they do, you need their approval. If you get their approval, you connect them with me or you provide their information to me for Tom at New Theory. That's step one. Nomination, an approved nomination. Me or somebody from my team will reach out to vet their information. If everything's kosher and everything catches out, they'll be into a pool, and we're going to do our best to try to satisfy all of them, but we're going to do at the bare minimum, we're going to allocate X amount of dollars towards this and to help some single mothers who need it, especially at this time. This is a program I'm going to run for June and July. Okay, see how it goes, and then expand it from there. How can you help? Well, there's two ways. One, tell people about it. Say the Armchair MBA is a little program. If you know any single mothers that can help, email Tom at New Theory. Number two, anything from the merch store, gross sales, not nest sales, not part of proceeds, gross sales for this second on the June or the July, 100% of those funds above and beyond what I put out are going to be used for this program. Some of the shirts that we have out there, I call the K Gatsify shirt, which is one of my favorites. I'm actually going to order some for my family. This is inspired by RJ Roger, My Wife Hates Me shirt, how apropos. Long story, but we did a long episode. I had a few drinks on there, hanging out. And he goes, Tom, we went way over time. I think your wife hates you. And that was on the show. It was brilliant because I love RJ Rogers, such a transparent and irreverent man. And it was our little ongoing joke. I decided to make a shirt of it. You got the Mobologist, which many of us like to call ourselves. I got the Armchair hat, as well I call the Armchair Italia shirt. So 100% of the proceeds go towards the merch go towards this program. Do not donate to the show in lieu of. I don't want donations. If you want to buy some merch to help out, fantastic. That will help subsidize it for me a little bit so I can help more people. The more money I have, the more people I can help. I don't want straight donations. It gets crazy. Forget about buying views. I don't want to issue impropriety. If you want to help out financially, order some merch stuff because you like the show and you feel it's a good cause, okay? And everything's going to be tracked. Everything will be clean. So anybody who makes a purchase will have access to seeing, hey, here's how it was spent. And I may not be able to disclose who it is. Depends on the person. If somebody says, hey, I'm happy to take the help, but I don't want it public, that's going to be private. That'll be Jane Doe. And for the people that are watching that need that help, and if you want to reach out yourself and need it, single mothers, for this program, your information is not going to be public. Now, if you may want to maybe say, hey, thank you, or do whatever, that's there's no obligation. But the idea of this is to actually help people who need it for a time that they need it. So with that said, we had an interesting snack today, under 20 minutes. I exposed myself and my strategy, as well as a giveaway that we're starting. Thank you for checking out the Armchair MBA. By the way, I have some banger interviews coming this week. Stay tuned.